In the meantime, Senator Roy Blunt is in Washington, D.C., where it's all going down. I want to ask you about not only the Supreme Court argument, Senator Blunt, but also about the fate of your right of conscience bill, which is a big deal. How are you doing, my friend?
Well, I'm good, buddy. It's good to be talking to you. And as we've talked about so many times this year already, I think the American people this year are deciding a lot about who we're going to be for a long time. And the arguments before the court will be part of that, though I'm not sure what the court will decide. I think the mandate is unconstitutional, but if the court decides by a 5-4 vote it's constitutional, I'm still just as opposed to it as I am otherwise. I think it's a bad idea. We can't afford it. I don't believe it's constitutional, but I have some concern that there are Americans who will begin to think, well, if it's constitutional, I guess that means we have to do it. We don't have to do it at all, and I hope the court reaches the decision that the Constitution won't let us do it, but we shouldn't do it whether the Constitution would let us do it or not, according to this court.
That's a very interesting point, because in this particular situation, if that's the case, is there a chance, and I know you're not, you don't know for sure what the outcome could be, but is there a chance that the Supreme Court might decide on certain aspects of it, but not even rule on the overall constitutionality?
Well, I think there is. Jamie, I'm not a lawyer. I'm the first non-lawyer elect.
The court could very well decide that some of this is unconstitutional and some of it stands. They could decide that it's unconstitutional, and since the law was put together pretty haphazardly, and nobody ever thought this bill would be the law when the Senate passed it when I was still in the House. There's no what's normally called the severability clause that says that if some of it's found unconstitutional, the rest of it can stand. So the court could decide lots of things, but hopefully what will happen is no matter what the court says, that we will not go forward with this plan. It's not a good plan for America, and we can't afford it even if it was a good plan.
Yeah, all right. So now regarding the Right of Conscience Act, which is something that now we're going to have a couple of rallies in Jefferson City tomorrow, that one featuring Michelle Bachmann and Pat Toomey, and then the other one featuring the Archbishop of St. Louis and other religious leaders. This is a big deal. What's the fate of your proposal?
Well, it is a big deal, and the House is going to take up this issue. It's a constitutional principle. It's a principle worth putting your career out there to do what you can to be sure that the government cannot tell people that they have to be party to things that they believe for their faith-based reasons are wrong. It's something that if you would have told the American people 3 or 4 years ago, or when this bill passed 2 years ago, that this will just allow the government to make you do anything that they think you should do, no matter what you think you should do, people would have said, "Oh, surely it couldn't do that." And in fact, these rules and regulations don't protect the people's religious beliefs in a way that the Constitution and the First Amendment says they should be protected. I wish I could be there for these rallies in Missouri this week, but I'm going to continue to be part of this important fight to be sure that the Second Amendment matters, the First Amendment matters, freedom of the press matters, but freedom of religion is the first of the freedoms that the Bill of Rights tries to protect for the American people, and it's a fight worth being part of.
Yeah, although if you listen to Nancy Pelosi, she says Obamacare is what protects us and allows us to pursue.
Well, that's apparently what they think, and of course that's the crux maybe of the whole debate here, too, Jamie, is that this is whether or not the government can make all the life decisions better for you, or you can make them better for yourself. And what we need to have is a healthcare system that focuses on the doctor-patient relationship rather than the government patient relationship. I don't want some government bureaucrat making these healthcare decisions for me, and I don't want a government regulator saying that you have to do something that violates your faith principles. And that's what these rallies are about. And by the way, the polling on this is dramatically different than you would think if you read the New York Times or the Washington Post or or a lot of other papers, maybe the St. Louis Post-Dispatch. The polling on this is that people overwhelmingly, when asked this question the right way, men and women believe that the government should not force people to do things that contrary to what they believe because of their faith.
All right. Well, good work up there, Senator Blunt. Really appreciate you joining us and giving us an update.
Thanks for what you're doing every day, and it's an important time, and I'm glad you're out there leading this important discussion about who we're going to be for a long time every day, Jamie.
Back at you, my friend. Appreciate it. Senator Roy Blunt.